Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prosper series. My name is Adriana, and I support community at Cello. And so the purpose of the Prosper series is to envision, ideate, and create a new world of prosperity for all. And so we're building a global community here of developers, designers, dreamers, and doers to gather together and make this new world a reality. And so Prosper originally started as a weekend retreat for folks to come together in person. And of course, with the current COVID crisis, we're taking Prosper online and bringing you content weekly into these bite-sized chunks. And so I'm super excited today. Our mission today is to gather together to ignite our unique purpose. And so this is something where right now, especially with all the disruption that's happening in the world, this is a fertile time for change. And so if we can deepen into the things that call us forth to create this new beautiful world, then we can support each other in bringing those unique purposes to life. And so I'm super excited today to welcome my friend and visual artist, Tatiana, and she is calling in from Kentucky, and she's a multidisciplinary visual artist and designer. And what I love is that her work focuses on creative processes that build connection through collaboration and explore the beauty and drama of human beings in the natural world. And so with that, I'm going to invite Tatiana to the screen for her to introduce herself. I'm so excited to have you here, Tatiana. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Adriana. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to do this workshop as part of the Prosper series. So today, the workshop is called Ignite Your Unique Purpose. It's a kind of introduction to zine making. And so just a little bit about me. I am a visual artist. I work in a lot of different mediums. I work in installation art, digital collage, zine making, which is actually a relatively new form of art for me, but one that I found to be very kind of cathartic and therapeutic and fun and easy, and one that I can kind of do wherever. So as you said, I'm based here in Louisville, Kentucky. Today would have been Oaks and Derby weekend. I'm wearing my hat to celebrate in the meantime. So I also do design work and project coordination at a museum film production company where we do like immersive 360 type films, and it's around the nation. So, and we've been working over the computer and online because we have a team that's spread out across the US. So being kind of digital is something I'm used to, but it's been nice to dive into different types of ways of working with being virtual. So anyway, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I have my background in photography, and but you know, zine making is something that was introduced to me a couple years ago. I have a friend who is an editor at a zine making publication called Broken Pencil Mag. They're based out of Toronto, and his name's Jonathan, and he told me about zines. I thought they were super awesome, and so some of the zines that I've worked on recently, you know, well, first off, what is a zine? And it's short from the word fanzine. I think the term was coined maybe somewhere in the 1930s. I did some research on this, and there's a lot of different, there's a long history of the zine. You know, started in the 1930s. It has a history of kind of being associated with like the punk rock scene of the 1970s, 1980s. And the thing is, a zine, which is short for fanzine, it's a small or large, any type of like booklet, magazine thing. Usually it's easily reproducible. I have one here right in front of me. And usually it has a publication run of less than 5,000, easily reproduced, cheap. And it's kind of like, the thing that's kind of still punk rock about it has like a super DIY aesthetic. Like anyone can make them. They don't need to be like super fancy. No one has to give you permission to make it, and you can make it about whatever you want. So like, for example, you could make a zine about cooking, you could draw all of your houseplants. That's actually something I did here. You can share something that you're passionate about. Maybe you're an activist and you want to tell people what you care about. You can really do anything. You can learn new words. I did a vocabulary zine that I'm currently working on. I wanted to learn a new word every day. And usually I'm going to do this one. This one's about me and another artist. Her name is also Tatiana. And we thought it was really cool that both of our names were Tatiana. So we made a book called When You Say Your Name, I Hear Mine. And she had access to a type of copy machine called a risograph machine. So that's something that you can do. It was just like one piece of paper, kind of like screen printing. That's the inside. And so when you fold it down, we made like a run of like 100 of these. And she is an author, so she gave them away with her books. And I have been giving them to friends and family. So it's just like kind of like kitschy, funny, you know, it's about the name Tatiana. It's fun. So, and then, yeah, the houseplant one, you know, and I just decided, I was like, I love these plants. I want to document them. I want to make something. And this is just a little artifact of my time thinking about how thoughtful my friend was to make them or to give them to me. And I'm probably going to like photocopy this and give her a copy. So yeah, that's what zines do. So I find that zines really help me because they're experimental, they're budget friendly. When I'm in my office, I do sometimes go into an office during my lunch breaks if I really want to like express myself or have an idea and I want to see it like in a kind of a format that looks just organized. You know, you can make this and then you can look back on it and be like, wow, okay, so that's what I was thinking in 2016. And I love the DIY aesthetic. Like, you don't have to be a professional illustrator to make this. You don't have to be a professional author. So the goal of this workshop specifically, I want to introduce you to what a zine is. Together with the theme of prosperity, I want us to be able to imagine a world of prosperity and see what your role is in that world. I want to experiment with a new medium. I'm also going to be making a zine with you. So this is, I don't know what my zine's going to look like. But it's probably going to be messy and fun and doodly and, you know, and we're all going to be doing it together. And also I want you to have the feeling of what it is to be like, to be creative and to have a platform where you can express yourself. And so the agenda for today, we're going to start with folding a zine, really basic fold. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but I'm going to do one that only requires a few things. Adriana is going to lead us through a meditation where we're going to do some like reflection. We're going to move through 3 creative journaling prompts, and that's where an extra piece of paper will come in handy. And then we're going to work on creating the zines. So that's kind of the process so far. So we're actually just going to move right into folding our zine. So materials, you need 2 blank pieces of paper, and one of them is for folding your zine. The other one can be just for, it's just going to be for like journaling. It's just going to be for writing down some ideas. It could be like a blank sheet. It can be a notebook. It can be whatever you want, like just whatever you have handy. But we're going to, and then you're also going to need scissors. If you have those, great. I had some right next to me. If you don't, for some reason, it's okay. You can just rip your paper and it's not going to be as clean, but you can come back and fix it later. And then you're also going to need some writing utensils. And I love just finding like Sharpies and highlighters and sometimes using those to decorate. And I know that like most people have them. So it's okay if you don't have things from like an art store, Sharpies, pencils, colored pencils, just whatever you have around. It can just be a pencil too. Okay, but so let's first off and start with folding the zine, because that's going to be the thing that uses our left brain. And once we have it ready, then we can just move into like expression and creation and fun. Okay, so, all right, we have the paper, as you can see right here in the corner. And I'm going to move this down. Okay, great. You can see me, I'm a little bit bigger. Okay, so paper. Move my things out of the way. First, we're going to do a couple different folds. First, we're going to fold it the long ways in half. And maybe it's really nice to get kind of like sharp edges so it makes the book easier to like fold and work with. So just kind of like run your finger along it. Be careful not to get any kind of like paper cuts. So then you unfold it and you have a line down the middle. Okay? Cool. So simple, just in half. In kindergarten, they told me that was called the hot dog fold. So we're just going to stick with that. All right, so the next fold is we're going to fold it in half the other way. I'm also known as the hamburger fold. Okay, so now, as you can see, we have that folded in half, and again, we're going to unfold it. So now our paper is split into 4 parts. That's great. And now we're going to fold from this edge. We're going to fold it to that middle line. So it looks like this, okay? And we're going to go ahead and do that on the other side as well. So now it looks like this. It is folded, and if we unfold it, so as you can see, the zine is folded into 6 parts, and we're almost there. The last thing we need to do is make a little cut. So we have, like, just to review, halfway fold, fold that way, and fold in. The last thing I'm going to have you do is we're going to fold it again this way. And on the side that's closed, do you see here there's the side that's open? We're not going to cut there. On this side, I'm just going to mark it with my marker with like a dotted line. You see that? We're going to cut along there. So it's like the side that's like closed, not open. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut there. So now I'm going to lift this up a little bit. As you can see, we have like a hinge. We have an opening. So when I open it up, there is a cut in the middle. Okay? And if you didn't have scissors, it's okay. You could have probably just tried to rip it. And, you know, if you want to redo this zine later with scissors, like, you can make them whenever. Okay, great. So I'm going to fold it in half this way. You see, here's like our mouth of the book. And we're just going to push, see right there, pushing it there. And then I can flatten it. Flattening it. Flattening it. We have suddenly a book. We have a zine. We have the basic one page, one piece of paper, six pages zine. So that's awesome. So that is where we are. Again, I can undo that fold one more time. Sheet of paper, cut in the middle, close there, pushing it to almost make like a cross, and then I start folding down the pages. So essentially you have this, and as I have this other example that I've already done, I put, and you're not going to do this yet, you don't want to put a big F on it, but the F front, first page, second page, third page, fourth page, fifth, sixth, and then the back of the book. So that is how you fold a zine. And for now, we're actually just going to go ahead and set this booklet aside, because we're going to move into the meditation and the journaling, and then we're going to come back to this. So you're going to have lots of ideas flowing before we go there. So I'm going to pass it on to Adriana to set the space for us.
Perfect. So thanks, Tatiana. So now that we have our zines, setting them down, and to create the space for us to go into our zine making and our art making, which usually takes more of the right side of the brain, I invite you to join me in a short meditation. And so if you feel comfortable, gently closing your eyes and relaxing into your seat. And here, taking a few deep breaths in through your nose and following the breath all the way down to the base of the spine. And feeling the weight of your body in your seat. And allowing the breath to slow and deepen as you allow your body to relax a little bit more into this holding of your seat, of the earth. And just taking a few deep breaths here. Feeling the fullness of the breath and the belly expand on the inhale and the full, complete exhales. And then taking a few breaths all the way down to the core of the earth. You can just imagine your breath running down, visualizing it going through the different layers of rock and sediment. And then exhaling, imagining that energy, that breath, driving up from the earth and entering in your body, grounding you. And from here, bringing your awareness to your heart and taking a breath here. Just noticing how, as the body relaxes, the breath slows and deepens a little bit more, creating that spaciousness, that relaxation that's necessary for creativity, for imagination. And in your heart center, just taking in the quote from Charles Eisenstein, "How beautiful can life be? We hardly dare imagine it." And so I invite you to take a few breaths here as you imagine for yourself how beautiful life can be. What are the colors, sensations, the images that arise of this beauty of the world? Just allowing whatever naturally arises to be there. And then with your next breath, just noticing your participation in this beautiful world. What are the things that you're doing? How are you feeling? What excites you and brings you alive in this vision? This vision that you're seeding in your heart. And maybe these are things that you're already doing in your life, which is beautiful. Or maybe they're things that you have that are dreams that you've yet to bring into manifestation. So just noticing that, allowing yourself to dream big, or perhaps even dream small. There's small things that you can do that make your life beautiful, that contribute to this larger whole. And taking another breath here. And when you're ready, gently opening up the eyes and coming back into our virtual room. And with that, we are ready to move into some journaling.
Yes, all right. So we are going to move from that beautiful meditation. Thank you so much, Adriana. That really kind of set me into like a grounded, relaxed place. I know I can need that sometimes to create. Sometimes I even like to do things like light a candle before I start making something. So that was perfect. All right, so the first question, we're going to take 3 minutes per question. And these are some reflection prompts. So this first one is reflect on what came up for you during the meditation. What does prosperity mean to you? And in there, write images, feelings, etc., anything that you can think of about and around prosperity. We're going to use this later to help inform what goes in our zine. So be as descriptive or however expressive as you want. All right, and I'm going to do this with you. So I'm going to start the clock in 3 minutes. Go ahead. And this is just on a blank sheet of paper, a scrap paper, whatever, just an extra piece. And it might even help if you write the question down at the top a little bit, just in notes, so you remember what exactly we were asking. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with you. And we are also going to play some beautiful music that Adriana connected with the musician on, and she will share more about her later. Just 30 more seconds, so if you want to go ahead and finish up your answer to that question. All right, great. And so whatever answer you have, that's a great one. You can expand on it later, maybe after the workshop, but we're just going to keep on moving through to the next prompt. And we're going to spend just a few minutes, 3 minutes writing on that as well. So this next question is, what is your role in this world of prosperity? How do you, like, what part do you see yourself playing in that? And if nothing arises, tune into what things excite you. What makes you look forward to tomorrow? What do you dream about? What do you hope you can do? What are your goals? So, all right, in 3 minutes, we're also going to journal a little bit more and begin.
Sankirtanalapini Shamangi Madhusikta Sukhi Amrita Nandatmikami Amrita Nandatmikami Amrita Nandatmikami.
Think about those things that excite you, your role, your part. Yes. All right, wonderful. And we're going to move into our reflection prompt number 3. This is our last one. And again, we're going to have 3 minutes to write about it. Journal any ideas, thoughts, and especially like if it's like an image comes up, that might help you later. All right, so the next question is, what is one thing you can do to energize this role? So you've thought about your role. What is something you can do to feed it, to help it prosper, to plant your seeds of prosperity? What makes it come alive? All right, in 3 minutes also. I'm going to do it with you. I have about 45 more seconds, so if you kind of just want to round out your answer, put some last thoughts on there. Okay, awesome. And that is actually the end of that reflection journaling section. So from here, we're going to move into making our zine. So you have your journaling stuff, and we're just going to first start out with looking at our zine. And also, just a note, don't feel like there's any shoulds or musts or anything like that. Like, you're doing your best, and there's no way that this needs to look. And it's just kind of like for fun. It's very DIY. All right, so the front. This is where you're going to put the title of your zine. And I think it's kind of hard to know what the title is going to be before you make it. So in that, on the cover, I'm just going to draw a big blank square. And if you want to draw a square or a shape, it's just like a little reminder of something that we're going to come back to later. And I did it here on this example too. So this is a space that we're going to come back and fill in. Okay? All right, so, and then we're going to move into the back of the book. That also looks like here. It's on the other side of the front, so the back. And on this part, I'm going to have you write your name, who it's by, put today's date, May 1st, and in a little square, I want you to draw a little doodle of yourself. And we're just going to take 4 minutes, make it loose. I'm going to look at myself in the screen right here. Yesterday, I was also wearing a lot of blue. So if you want to go ahead and put your name, the date, and draw a little portrait of yourself, we're just going to take 3 minutes and do that. So if you want to go ahead and start, I'm going to draw with you. I'm making this whole thing from scratch as well. So my front. And this way, when you look back on it, you know, this is like the little author page. So I'm putting by Tatiana Rathke. And today is May Day, May 1st, 2020. It's also, like I said earlier, it's Oaks. It's a really big weekend in Kentucky usually, where people wear pink at Churchill Downs and celebrate the fillies, the female horses. So there's my square. And I am not always an illustrator, but you know what? I have a lot of fun. I'm going to look at myself. Actually, no, I'll just keep it down for you. I know I'm wearing like a big hat. I'm going to do it with like a Sharpie and then come in and fill it in later with a pencil or with colored pencils. Let's take a couple more minutes. And because we're doing this zine together, there's like a certain pace that I'm kind of like keeping, but you know, normally when I'm drawing, I take as much time as I want, and I encourage you to do the same. So if you feel like you want to spend more time on drawing your author photo, Please go back to it and do some more. But this is just kind of laying the groundwork and the foundation for you. And I have like a lot of like patterns on my outfit. So I'm just gonna like, this is an abstract interpretation of, of me. I'm also wearing a lot of blue. Yeah, I'm just kind of like doing the idea. So that's me currently at this moment, but that's actually 3 minutes. So if you want to come back to that later, that's great. So, but we're going to actually dive into the inside of the book now. So we have the first and second page. I have it marked right here. And on these pages, I am going to have you look at your answer from question number 1. And that was a reflection on what came up for you during the meditation, images, anything like that. And it's like, what do you think of? What does prosperity mean to you? And so something that I think could be really helpful in illustrating this on these first 2 pages is going back to your first question and circling some words that kind of stand out to you. Like I'm thinking of accepting ourselves and deserving contentment and happiness. And I'm thinking a lot about like basic needs and all the things that people need to feel satisfied. So I'm, where did my beautiful, oh, an example that I did yesterday, I said like, what does prosperity mean to me? And I drew all the different things that it means to me. And I drew it in like a triangle because I just like drawing geometric shapes when I'm doing, you know, trying to come up with an idea. It's nice to have like a container. So I drew a triangle and all in that I put all the things that I thought prosperity meant. And I drew a bunch of hands holding it up like we together will lift it up. So we're going to spend about 8 minutes illustrating your answer from question number 1. And I'm going to do mine. We're all going to do our own. So in 8 minutes, I'm going to, again, just, so that's the example, but go ahead and circle some keywords from your answer and just have fun filling it in. And you can put as much text as you want, just scribble colors and fill the page up, but really just 8 minutes of whatever. Doesn't need to look a certain way. I'll put my example there. So pages 1 and 2. And again, I'm just going to go straight from my Sharpie. Like I'm going to go, actually, let's go for like the big purple mark. I'm going to like go big and bold. And actually with zine making, if you plan on photocopying this, I'm going to do a triangle again and fill in all the things that prosperity means to me in that. It feels like something like you build up to. Sometimes big, bold marks are easier to copy in a copy machine, but if you're only going to have this copy for you, then it doesn't really matter. And sometimes if you're having a hard time starting to make marks on your page, sometimes I find just like moving my utensil around and just like letting whatever mark come up. If that's kind of like, it's like wearing an outfit before you go out in it if you feel nervous. It's like warm up to what you're doing, even with markers, like get some of that movement out. And maybe prosperity means to me just, yeah, I want to feel good when I think of what prosperity means to me. So I just like kind of filled it in with some feels. And I could also like fill in like a lot of words that come to mind here. I'm just kind of making it like graphic and bold and fun and playful. Tracing lines that I've already made. I think of us all being able to have a safe place to come back to, kind of general needs are being met, home. I think about having access to nature, maybe, to draw into some like playful flower shapes. I think about the example my mom gave to me. Maybe I'm going to give like a little pretend tattoo heart to my mom. So I'm really just filling it in, having fun. And when you don't want to draw something new, that's when you can just start coloring if you have some sort of marker or color. Sometimes I think it's also really fun if you have just one color. Monochromatic is awesome, or if you have like two different colors, that's great, because I think you don't need a lot of variety always to make like bold, colorful, fun, artistic choices. So, and also something that I love about zine making and drawing is that you get to, if you can kind of get in the flow and like relax and let yourself make whatever comes up and just not be too perfectionist, then you can kind of get into this like artistic flow. It's like trusting whatever comes to mind. And actually, if you want to go ahead and finish up, we have only about 30 seconds. So I'm just going to put in some final, like, I think this needs like some more color down here. And again, you can come back to it later. Okay, great. All right, awesome. So we filled in our first page. Mine kind of looks a little bit like my example, but it's different colors, different ideas. I wrote some more different things. I started coloring, I scribbled. So we're going to move into pages 3 and 4. And for this question, the question was, what is my role in this world of prosperity? So again, we're going to take 8 minutes, and I'm going to encourage you to look at some of your writing, circle some words that came up for you, and encourage you, if you want a prompt, to go ahead and illustrate yourself in this role. And so yesterday when I was thinking about my roles and I was creating the example, I thought of myself as someone who wore a lot of hats. And I wanted to just make a playful, fun, colorful hat. I didn't even finish coloring it in, that's okay. But I put all my roles inside of the hat. And I just kind of meditated on that, and I thought about them further. So in these next 8 minutes, I'm going to encourage you to illustrate your role. What does your role look like in the world of prosperity? And I'm going to make a new illustration with you as well. So pages 3 and 4, the next spread in your book. So if you want to go ahead and begin. And actually, as I'm kind of looking at time, it looks like we're going to actually just do that for 4 minutes. So we're going to kind of shorten it up. So just get started on your illustration. Write about your role. I think this time I'm thinking about the world of prosperity. It actually is being like a globe. And I'm going to put different versions of myself along the edges of that. I'm really thinking about hats a lot right now. I think with the Kentucky Derby, it's just a culture. So. I went ahead and circled some of the roles I see myself in. I see myself in a lot, so I couldn't think of just one, but I think that's okay. Here's my answer so far. Lots of versions of me. A very loose interpretation of what the world looks like. I don't have one in front of me right now, but all those years of 7th grade geography, hopefully they're lovely. They're beautiful, all the islands. But we're going to brighten this up with some color. And we have about a minute and a half. So, you're just getting really started on this, but You can always come back to it. I just wanted to kind of give you some basic ideas. I kind of believe sometimes that if you can put something down on paper, it can help maybe inspire you to make something happen in the real world. I love vision boards, like where you do a lot of collage work. That's also a really great way to express yourself if you don't feel super great about drawing. Collage already has the imagery made for you and you get to lay it out. So that's another really cool way to do a zine. If you had like a bunch of magazines and you wanted to that's the thing with zines as well. Like sometimes it's like not even your own imagery. It's just this really like lo-fi, pull it all together, glue it, tape it. I'm going to give this a nice border too. All right. And we're going to go ahead and move into our last pages of our zine, 5 and 6. Those are the last two that you haven't filled in. They're right here. And so again, I think you probably know where I'm going with this. This last one is we're going to illustrate and write and fill in the pages about our last question. So what can you do to energize this role or these roles that you've come up with? In my example yesterday, I put my question up here, I put my answer in the middle, and then I drew a mandala, like a meditative mandala around it, and I filled it with shapes that excite me. And you could like fill it with flowers, you could fill it with like things that make this come alive. So I encourage you, if you need an idea, to do a mandala. And if not, and you have your own idea, just go with that. So let's spend 4 minutes. Go ahead and fill that out as well. And I'm going to start by circling some of the words of how I can energize this role, what really sticks out to me in keywords here. So I brainstormed. When I think of the word energize, I think of really fun little like lightning bolts. I'm going to do the mandala again. Something that I think is really fun to draw. Sometimes I just love doing spirals. It's something you have to focus kind of hard on, but at the same time, it lets you be in the present. I've been thinking a lot about different shapes. I just watched this documentary called Beyond the Visible. It's about an artist named Hilma af Klint who had a retrospective at the Guggenheim in New York. She was kind of an unknown painter from the early 1900s. She's Swedish, and the discovery of her work in just recent history has kind of changed the art world. She made a lot of kind of almost like mystical, scientific type artwork, and some of it's just so beautiful, beautiful shapes, beautiful colors, way beyond her time, and it kind of has inspired me to like play with more like abstract shapes. Like maybe in this thing I'm drawing just like that. And I mean, for Hilma af Klint, she was supposedly taking like, it wasn't all coming through her. She was taking like energies, and she was like almost like a conduit for her art. But for me, I think of things that inspire me, imagery that I've seen, and then I think about, you know, my topic while I do that. I'm thinking about prosperity and how I can take care of myself while I think about those roles that I want to play in that. All right, and I know we're getting close to the end, so please come back to this later. This was the last 2 pages. What can I do to energize this role? So that was pages 5 and 6. And so now, just the last thing, if you want to go back to the cover of your book, I know we're reaching the end of our workshop, and you know, I'm really happy that I was able to introduce you to zine making. So I'm going to call mine, just like you can give it a name, or if it's too rushed, you don't have to. Mine's going to be prosperity. I'll go back and decorate this later, but I think I'm going to call mine prosperity in my life. So anyway, I would love to see what everyone has made. If you want to go ahead and take photos at some point, or join us in the Discord conversation later. And I'd be glad to answer any questions. And also you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana Rathke. And I'm very active on there as well. You can check out my work, and I hope that you discovered a little bit more about your intention today, and that you feel a little bit more confident when it comes time to making a zine. And please finish it, share it with the world, go to a zine fest, or just keep it on your bookshelf for you. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and thanks so much. I'm gonna hand it back to you, Adriana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tatiana.
Definitely. So glad to be here with you all. I'm excited to see, how does yours look?
Yeah, so let's see here. I'm going to, mine, I haven't put the title on it yet, but here, I'll,
yeah, I want to see.
So
I love how they're all going to look different.
Mine is more about hearts coming alive, and that's how I see prosperity, and that my role in that is to support that process by giving people their hearts. So
I love that. I love that's really good.
Yeah.
Wait, can I see your photo on the back, or can I see the back of yours?
Oh, the back of mine?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I have myself with a crown.
Perfect. No, oh my gosh, that is so perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to thank Tatiana for spending your time here. Oh, Laurent, you say my screen is off. I think you guys can see me, right?
Yeah, I can see you.
Cool. All right, fantastic. So I do want to invite folks, if you want to join Tatiana and I in a Zoom call after this, we can share our zines, what came up for you around this process, any questions you might have for Tatiana. And also just to finish up with the last few minute things before our time is complete. So here are some other zine resources if you want to look into this a little bit more, and I'll share this out with the folks that registered in a follow-up.
Perfect.
And this is Tatiana's information where you can reach her. And of course, you know, this is a weekly series. And so every week we do something different here. Today was more creative, which is always really fun. And next week we'll have Will Lee from C Labs sharing about how to create prosperity through digital livelihood. So this is a process of the question of how could people earn money just through their mobile phone. And so he's going to be sharing about a project that was done in Kenya and the beautiful insights that came from that through the Earn project. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Join us in the Zoom call next week, or rather right after here, and then join us in the continuing series next week. And share, you know, some photos of your zine also on either Instagram or Twitter, and hashtag prosperity for all so that we can all benefit. So may all beings prosper in connection and their unique purpose. And we will see you all next week. And I'll share the Zoom hangout here for you folks in the chat if you would like to join on a call. So let's see here. Let me just find the link and I'll share it in the chat. So thank you, Daisy, and look forward to meeting you in the chat if you have time. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, see you in the chat. Thanks again for letting me be here.
Yeah, so much fun, Tatiana, always. Okay, bye-bye.